Hey everybody, Mark Herman, aka LA Bengal fan on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, repping the Bengals for the AFC Northerners. I want to apologize for the lateness of this. I had wanted to get this up right after the draft concluded and get something up by Monday. Didn't have time to do that. Sometimes life gets in the way of these things, so I do apologize. But I'm getting one up now, getting ready for a trial that I'm participating in next week. So it's getting busy, so I wanted to get one up now while I had a chance. I did put up one covering the first round, telling you how happy I was with the Jonah Williams pick. You can always go back and watch it. That was put up right after the end of the first round. But I just wanted to kind of give a brief recap of everything. I'm not going to go pick by pick. You know, I only ask for 5 to 10 minutes of your time. We're not going to do a 30-minute or an hour show breaking down that. You can watch other people's videos or go on to some of the more mainstream channels if you can find Bengal news. I mean, one of the problems out there is that there isn't a lot of Bengal news. We don't get a lot of coverage, but let's go through everything. I thought we got very good value. I really liked our draft looking at it as a whole. I know Mel Kiper gave us an A-. It wasn't a sexy draft. That's fine. I don't care about that. I want quality. I think I said in my last video, and I know I said it on Twitter, if you watched the play of our offensive line last year, just the fact that we got Jonah Williams, that was a real sexy pick to me. So, because that's what we needed to fix. We also got great value with Michael Jordan on day 3, offensive guard out of Ohio State. One of the themes, and I know this was reiterated on with Paul Dehner's video and stuff, was versatility. But another theme that wasn't discussed is high character. Those were the two themes. We didn't draft any problems. I was yelling on Twitter during the day 2 of the draft because I wanted Mack Wilson, and then I heard reports that there were some off-the-field issues and locker room issues with him. So even though he was a team captain, that was probably one reason why the Bengals just opted to pass on Mack Wilson. He did wind up in the 5th round on the Browns, but we went for high-character guys, and we went for guys that were versatile. You're seeing stories right now about the offensive line being in flux. Nobody knows who's playing where. That's fine. We have guys that can play guard, center, tackle. We're going to move them around. I trust that Zach Taylor and the coaches are going to put together a combination, but we are going to see a completely revamped line. Everybody, I said this before on previous shows, everybody was freaking out about the Bobby Hart signing. They thought Bobby Hart's fixable. We need horses in the stable. And we just added a couple really, really good horses to this offensive line. So I'm really excited to see what we're going to have. Big winners was Joe Mixon. I mean, he had to be doing cartwheels watching this draft. And also John Ross, because we didn't go after wide receiver. I know that's been said a lot. We didn't go after any wide receiver. So whatever Zach Taylor and the coaching staff has seen in the pieces we have, they think John Ross is fixable, and they think that Bobby Hart's fixable, and they like Andy Dalton. Just because we drafted Finley doesn't mean we're not committed to Andy Dalton for the next year or two. But I really do think we got great quality with that Finley pick. He's under no pressure. He's a 4th rounder. Todd McShay has called him the most NFL-ready quarterback in this draft. But he can develop and sit back there, and he's a good option. We also have a viable backup. Remember, last year, Jeff Driscoll went 1-4 when Dalton was out. I think that Finley could go 3-2 or 4-1 if he develops properly. So we needed a viable backup. And so I'm very happy with the Finley pick. You draft a quarterback in the 1st round, and everybody's going to be pushing him to start. We're not looking to replace Andy Dalton this year. I truly believe, and I've said from the beginning, I believe Zach Taylor believes Andy will fit his scheme. And now Andy has to prove that he can win in prime time and the postseason. If not, we'll move on. And we've got his replacement we have his possible replacement on the roster now for, within a year or two. One of the most refreshing things that occurred in this draft was that we definitely saw that there's a culture change going on in the building. This is definitely Katie's team and Troy's team, Duke Tobin's team, it's Zach's team. This is no longer the Marvin Lewis, Mike Brown era. That has long gone. We were trying to trade up. We actually did trade up, obviously, for Finley. We traded back for Drew Sample, but we were actually trying to maneuver the board. There was a report, Mike Floria at Pro Football Talk said the Bengals in day 2 were trying to trade up into the top 3 or 4 picks desperately to get one of the tackles that had fallen. So we were trying to get a second tackle, maybe Jawan Taylor, maybe Cody Ford. They were all there. There was a group of tackles that fell into the beginning of the second. We actually tried to trade up, and we couldn't execute the trade. We traded back and ended up taking Drew Sample. I do agree that Drew Sample was probably a reach in the second round. Their contention was he had the skill set they wanted. They really had targeted them, and we'll give them credit for at least not taking him with the 11th or at our spot in the second round and trading back. But we could have got more from Denver. We both of our trades, we didn't get enough, I don't think. But once again, you have to look at the draft as a whole. When you look at our third round pick, Jermaine Pratt, I was very happy with that. He probably would have been an okay pick in the second round and Sample in the third. So just look as day 2 as getting the 2 players you wanted, and don't concern yourself with where they're drafted. Because like I said, if Pratt had been drafted 2 and Sample had been drafted 3, there wouldn't have been any discussion about reaching for Sample. So listen, the guys, they got what they wanted. We have to give these guys the tools. Like Bill Parcells said one time, if you want me to make dinner, allow me to go shopping for the ingredients. I know those weren't his exact words, but that's the gist of what he was saying. You can't have somebody else picking the picks and then you expect our coach to make the salad. So I was real pleased overall with the draft. In terms of value, we got some great value in day 3. Really, like I said, like the Michael Jordan pick. He's a real versatile lineman. The Deshaun Davis pick. He's another athletic linebacker. So, and then Rodney Anderson out of Oklahoma. That's a great. He's going to pop right into the Mark Walton spot as a backup to Mixon and Gio. Just a great, another special teams. He's going to help out on all those things. So quality-wise, there's a reason to be excited. The change of culture, what we did in the draft, there's a real reason. I think we are going to surprise some people. I really do. There's zero pressure on this team. We're already being projected to have 6 or fewer wins by Vegas. We're last. We're the longest odds to win the division. So everything's set up for us. We have one primetime game. That's it. So I mean, we might get flexed into more if we have if we're contenders at the end of the year. But everything is set up for this team to do really well. There's no pressure on them. Like I said, we're going to have a completely retooled offensive line, and I'm really looking forward to what we're going to see out of some of our draft picks. So. And obviously, we had a home run with Jonah. I'm really excited. If you've watched any of the interviews, if you follow him on any of the social medias, this guy's saying and doing all the right things. What a class act. It looks like we truly finally have our replacement to Whitworth. We should have never let Whitworth leave the building, but that's already happened. We truly have our Whitworth replacement in the locker room, and it's really great to see. If you haven't had a chance, jump over and check out DGBG's video on the Browns. I'll put up some stuff later on as we get into some of the voluntary activities and things, and we get obviously opening into training camp later in the year. So with that said, I will wish everybody a good rest of your week, and I'm going to give everybody a hoo-day, and take care, everybody. Have a good one.